What's up everybody, this is QTheQreator back with another makeup tutorial. This one is the fourth in the Mythology series, and it is inspired by the Naiad, also known as the water nymph, which were the nymphs of streams, lakes, marshes, fountains, and springs. If you want to see how I accomplish this look, then stay tuned. Okay, so of course I start out with my Elemis glue stick, gluing down my eyebrows. I almost put my eye out. Then I'm going to go in with my black Opal loose finishing powder to seal that, and of course, as always, when I'm doing these types of looks, I'm going to do another layer of that on my eyebrows just to make sure they're really covered. Me playing with my face cast. Dead. Anyway, so I built some prosthetics to add to this look. This forehead piece was actually supposed to have like scales in it, but for whatever reason when I went to try to actually carve those out, it just wasn't working, so I made it smooth. Anyway, so I'm going to glue that on with my MEHRON spirit gum and then blend the edges with my liquid latex, and I'm going to do the same for these gills that I've created for my face. Okay, so now I'm just gonna map out where I want this design that's going to be on my neck and shoulders. This is actually inspired by Insomniac's Dream, so check that out. I'll put a link in the description. So then I'm gonna cover all of this with this lighter blue color, and I'm gonna eventually end up going over those white marks with a dark blue and fading that into the lighter blue, as well as going in with a black to add dimension. This is using the CNC Beauty palette, and then when I go back in with the black, that is by, I believe, MEHRON. It's my liquid activated black, and I'm gonna go back in just to add detail. After doing that, I'm going to go in with a black liquid liner as well as a kind of baby blue colored liquid liner and just add some detail in between those little, I don't even know what to call them things, but y'all see what I was doing. Then, of course, I'm going to take my foundation and cover my entire face and prosthetics just to get an even tone overall. That is using my, what was it, by Maybelline? Yeah, Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, and then I'm going to go back with my black Opal pan stick in the color Kalahari Sand just to highlight my T-zone. So after that, I'm going to set my entire face as well as this shoulder piece with my benign neutral set powder, and then I'm going to go in with the James Charles palette. It's using that kind of turquoise color. I'm not about to look it up. You see it. And I'm gonna try to begin to contour and add some dimension and color to my face. It wasn't really working how I wanted with the headpiece, so when I went in on the gills, I used my CNC Beauty palette with that lighter blue just to start creating some color and getting it down really well with a cream rather than a powder, so that I can actually get some pigmentation onto my face. After doing that, I'm gonna go back in with that same color from the James Charles palette and begin to set that. As you can see, my camera actually cut off and I didn't realize that it cut off, so I had gone in and began to contour underneath the gills using my B&H Cosmetics palette, and it's actually a mix of two of the darker blues from that palette just to begin to create some dimension underneath those gills. I'm going to take those same colors into that prosthetic on my forehead. I also started that with using the cream from the CNC Beauty palette. It's the darker color blue, and I'm setting it with the mix of the two blues from the B&H Cosmetics palette. After that, I'm going to go in with that same liquid activated black by MEHRON from earlier, and I'm going to just add a little bit more dimension to those gills. I don't really know what I was doing with my powder brush, but it ended up having some blue on it, and I ended up having to go over my entire face with that, and it kind of changed my color just a little bit. But hey, happy accident maybe? Not really. I wasn't happy about it, but you gotta make it work, child, because I wasn't starting over. So after that, I'm taking that same liquid activated black by MEHRON, and I'm just drawing on some scales onto this prosthetic. So I really wanted it to be that same kind of feel, but with texture. But like I told you earlier, it wasn't working when I was building the prosthetic, so I figured I would just draw it on. I'm going to go in now and begin my lid with my, what is that, La Femme? Yeah, that's my La Femme palette. So it's the black from the La Femme palette. As you know, I use that other than the James Charles palette because it's a little bit more pigmented. And then I'm going to take those same two darker blues and blend those into that smoke that I'm creating. And those darker blues are again from the B&H Cosmetics palette. Now going into the scales just to add some color to those, I am again using the CNC Beauty palette. This time I mixed two blues together to get that color, and then I'm going to set those with the blue from the James Charles palette, and I'm also going to highlight my gills using my Juvia's Place palette. I don't know what the color is, child. Y'all have to look. Anyway, so taking those same liquid liners from earlier, I'm just going to add some of those same ornamentation, embellishment, whatever you want to call them, dots to my face that are seen on my chest and neck. After doing that, I'm going to add these faux tears to my lid using that same MEHRON liquid activated black from earlier. And after getting those done, I realized I didn't have a lip done, and I just actually used a brush that already had some color on it and applied that to my lip, and then I highlighted that using that CNC Beauty palette. I'm also going to go in and darken that just a little bit. So here I am taking off my earrings and trying on my ears and seeing where they will be. And as I said earlier, this is me going back in and ombreing that lip and making it a little bit darker. And after doing that, I'm going to go back and figure out how to put on my ears because I didn't really think about it. I built them and then didn't really think about how I was gonna get them to actually stick to my head. So that took me a little second. So I'm going to actually go off camera to figure that out, as you see here, and then come back, and this is the completed look. I also did this liquid latex little thing to add some webbing to my hands. I didn't really like how it looked, so I didn't really highlight that a lot. But other than that, this is the completed look. Hope you guys really love it. These are my favorite shots. I hope you enjoyed this one. As always, I enjoyed creating it. Follow me on social media. Let's be friends or whatever. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, turn on those notifications when you do, like, comment, and share. See you guys next time.